Hey everyone, Jessica Brown here, nutritionist, compassion teacher. But I am going to spend a little time talking about a personal experience that I think a lot of you might resonate with. And that is my use of GLP-1 medications for my menopause symptoms. So I have been microdosing a GLP-1 medication, specifically Tirzepatide, from a compounding pharmacy for almost 11 months now. And I want to talk about the benefits, how and why I chose it, and why you might want to consider it as well. A lot of people are using these medications for weight loss, and that's awesome. In fact, my identical twin sister has been doing that, which is how I found out about using these medications. And then also listening to the Dr. Tina Moore podcast that talked about microdosing. So, about 11 months ago, I decided I was going to see if it would help my menopause symptoms. The big reason why is because GLP-1 medications are so effective at doing a few things. Number one, they're effective at normalizing insulin and glucose in the body, and specifically in the brain, which in theory can help with menopausal brain fog, which was one of my main symptoms. And number two, it decreases inflammation. And inflammation, if you are a woman going through menopause, you know that inflammation is everywhere. You feel more tired, your joints hurt, and I feel like it kind of creeps up on you. The other pieces I'll say is that I have been on hormone replacement therapy now for almost 3 years. And I told all of my doctors that I was going to be microdosing. That's important for you to do because everything I'm going to talk about has been my own experience, but I'm not a licensed doctor, nor can I tell you what to do with your body. I can just tell you what I've done and how it's helped me. The takeaway here is that it's helped me so much that I hope to never go off microdosing these medications. Did I need to lose weight? No. My body, if I weighed myself, my BMI was within normal range. Okay. Did I have higher amounts of visceral fat on my body than I should? Yes. Yes. I did a DEXA scan about a year and a half ago now. And even though my BMI was normal and my body weight was normal, the amount of visceral fat I had on my body was increasing. I have a personal and family genetic risk for cardiovascular disease. And so I have been shifting and changing things over the last year and a half because of my genetic risk. GLP-1 medications are one of the things that I decided I wanted to add in, even though I didn't need to lose weight, to help lower my risk. Turns out that it helped with almost everything else. My brain's working better. My ADHD is better. My inflammation is better. My blood pressure is lower now than it has been my entire life. My lipids have normalized and I've started to lose visceral fat. All of this because I went on a teeny tiny dose of Tirzepatide. And I don't want to minimize it like, ooh, a teeny tiny dose, like that's nothing, because it's not nothing. That's why I told all my doctors that I was going on this medication and that I was on the medication because I wanted them to note it in my chart and I wanted to know if they had anything to say about it. I have 3 doctors, a cardiologist, a primary care doctor, and a gynecologist. And I spoke with all 3 of them. I told them what dose I was on. I told them which medication I was on, which was compounded Tirzepatide. And I said, are you okay with that? And they said, all 3 of them, 100%. The research that's coming out is phenomenal. Glad you're finding something that's helping you feel better. Yes, we give our blessing. So that's one thing to consider as well. So I want to go back to the piece besides the cardiovascular disease risk in my family was the reason I decided to go on this medication. Actually, so I had a couple of things: visceral fat, cardiovascular disease, my blood pressure was creeping up, but I was insulin resistant. And that had never happened to me before until I started to go into menopause. Turns out when a woman goes into menopause, she naturally becomes more insulin resistant, even if she's on hormones. Not all the time, but for me, I was on hormones and I still had an increase in blood pressure and became insulin resistant. How do I know that? I had some blood work done for a life insurance policy, and I was shocked when it came back and it showed I was just a few clicks shy of being pre-diabetic. Hadn't changed anything in my diet. I was not exercising the way that I am exercising now, but still, I was, as a nutritionist, it shook me to my core of like, what the heck is happening to my body as I'm going into menopause? I talked to my cardiologist and she said, yep, when you start going into menopause, your risk for cardiovascular disease increases, you become more insulin resistant, and your blood pressure increases. And she was probably the one who was the most enthusiastic about me being on a microdose of a GLP-1 medication. Okay. So it's worked for me. I hope to never go off of these medications. I have noticed an amazing response in my body. Yes, I have lost about 4 or 5 pounds over 11 months, but I'm really doing it because it helped me feel better in my body, and it helped me eat more foods, increase the diversity of the diet that I was eating, and it helped personally for me, it helped my gut health. So remember, you need to talk to your doctor. It's important for you to have a whole team of people helping you and to not do this all by yourself. I'd love to hear from you. Have you been using microdosing GLP-1 medications for anything specific? Tell me about you. I'd love to hear more from you.